So the County Assembly, you have 30 minutes to make your opening statement. Thereafter, it will be followed by the Governor's opening statement. It will also take 30 minutes.
Sorry, Mr. Speaker. Thank you so much, Mr. Speaker. Before we make the opening statement, there are certain preliminary matters that the County Assembly wished to raise. So with your permission, Mr. Speaker, I wish to be given the opportunity to raise them first.
You may proceed.
Thank you so much. Mr. Speaker, allow me to begin by raising the fairly simple and straightforward preliminary issue. By letter dated 24th August 2025, by the firm of HK Advocates on behalf of the County Assembly. Sorry, the record may not have caught my name. My name is Elisha Ongoya for the County Assembly of KERICHO. And I think for members of the Senate on light note, Mr. Speaker, who may wonder whether Mr. Mutuma and I are actually on this side, we may say that the Kabrang rule has placed us this side today. Mr. Speaker knows that better than I do. By letter dated 24th August 2025, H&K Law Advocates, acting for the County Assembly of KERICHO, requested the clerk of this House to make special arrangements for one witness who suffers a physical disability in the nature of mobility impairment when that time comes. So that we don't struggle at the last minute, I would wish that Mr. Speaker directs that those arrangements be made as and when that witness is required to be put on the stand.
Yeah, those arrangements are going to be made.
Thank you so much. The second preliminary issue is also relating to another letter dated 24th August 2025 and addressed the clerk of this House. Just for context, you'll notice that among the filings made by the governor in his defense was a notice of preliminary objection, which was brought to the attention of the County Assembly when the documents were being exchanged at the clerk's designated area. In the circumstances, the County Assembly wrote to this House informing it that it will be seeking the leave of this House to file a response to the notice of preliminary objection.
I think, Council, that PO hasn't been raised yet. It's on record, but it's yet to be raised.
Thank you.
So you'll be given an opportunity to make that application once that PO has actually been raised.
Thank you. Having said that, Mr. Speaker, the final is a set of documents that we also wish to be permitted to be circulated to the senators. I'll just lay a brief context for this. There are documents which, Mr. Speaker, when you are informing the senators, you drew their attention to the documents that the County Assembly brought to this House accompanying the resolution of the County Assembly. Some of those documents, unfortunately, when we are now preparing the volumes for circulation, because of the number of volumes involved, were omitted among the documents that were delivered, and other documents were also referred to the various witness affidavits, and those documents were also omitted when we were producing the volumes because of the sheer number of volumes that were being produced. If you give me permission, Mr. Speaker, I can then draw your attention to the specific documents so that then you can consider whether or not to allow them.
You may proceed.
Thank you. Mr. Speaker, you'll remember you read among the documents that the County Assembly presented to this Senate as payment vouchers for the Department of Agriculture. You also read payment vouchers for the Department of Lands and Physical Planning. Those documents, although accompanying the motion and duly presented to the Office of Speaker, were not reproduced in the volumes that have been given to the honorable senators. We beseech you to grant us leave to have those documents circulated among the senators. We also have documents that are mentioned in the various witness affidavits, but which unfortunately were not reproduced when the volumes were being made. By name, we have a staff redeployment memo dated 10th January 2025, an internal memo of the county government of KERICHO. We have certain printouts of M-Pesa statements that are referred to in the affidavit of Eric Koech. We have the letter dated 21st August 2025 with regard to the report of the ad hoc committee on Kazi Mtaani, which, Mr. Speaker, you have alluded to. It is referred to in the affidavit of the motion mover. We have certain RTGS payment extracts that are referred to in the affidavit of Albert Koech. We have the termination letter of Enoch Koech that is referred to in the affidavit of Eric Koech. We have an invitation for a meeting with the Joint County Assembly Committee on Water and Sanitation and Environment and Forestry and Natural Resources and Minutes. The committee report of that committee, my apologies, the report of that committee is before this House, but only the invitation letter that was omitted in the course of the photocopying. Then we have bundles of invitation letters dated 18th July 2025 to appear before the ad hoc committee of the County Assembly of KERICHO on fictitious payments. Again, the report of that committee is already before this House. So the only documents that were omitted were the invitation letters, which we seek that you permit to be presented to this House so that we have a complete record. Then finally, Mr. Speaker, we have certain photographs and an attendant certificate of electronic evidence. The photographs are referred to in the affidavit of Kiprotich Rogoni, and the certificate of electronic evidence is also in that affidavit, but unfortunately, in the course of mass production of the documents, they were omitted. Those documents, Mr. Speaker, we beseech you to allow the senators to have access to them so that we can have a comprehensive view of the situation. The other documents are the ones, as I alluded to earlier, relating to the answer to the PO. I will suspend dealing with those ones as director of the Speaker, and I'll deal with them as and when that PO becomes a relevant issue before this House. My learned colleague should draw my attention on something so that we don't waste time. I'll ask him just to present it to the Senate right away so that the Senate can make a decision.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir. For record purposes, my name is Elias Mutuma. I just wanted to confirm that the documents that my learned senior has alluded to have already been supplied to Council for the Governor through email yesterday, and physical copies were delivered this morning. Thank you.
Council for the Governor, do you have any objections to that request?
Mr. Speaker, sir, and honorable senators, we very strongly object. We very strongly object. It is true that we were Mr. Speaker, sir, we strongly object to the attempt to introduce new evidence at this point. It is true that this morning, as we were waiting to walk in here, we were served with the documents referred to by my colleague. Mr. Speaker, sir, the first point of our objection is that we will not have had an opportunity to have looked at them and to prepare ourselves to respond to them, considering that today is scheduled for hearing. The second objection, Mr. Speaker, sir, is that you already gave a timetable within which the filings were to be done, and we all struggled to file within that time, including ourselves, who had also equally voluminous documents. So the mere contention that it was voluminous is not good enough a reason. The third objection we have, Mr. Speaker, sir, is that they were not part of the documents that were used during the proceedings at the County Assembly. And for purposes of that point, Mr. Speaker, sir, I wish to make reference to your standing orders, the standing orders for this, for the Senate, particularly the standing order number 20. The standing order is to this effect. In presenting its evidence, the Assembly shall not introduce new evidence that was not part of the allegations against the governor in the county assembly as forwarded by the Speaker. Mr. Speaker, sir, it is our contention that that standing order clearly prohibits the introduction of this new evidence. It is also our argument that if that evidence had been brought to the Assembly, there is also the possibility that the Assembly could have asked my colleague, Mr. Wanyama, to make supplementary submissions on the issue.
Mr. Speaker, sir, the Honorable Senators, just an additional remark. If you look at paragraph 16 of the motion and the entire motion, there is certainly evidence which the mover of the motion wanted to adduce before the county assembly. At paragraph 16 of the motion, the mover of the motion specifically said on the floor that that evidence will be sought after asking the House to issue summons. And throughout the motion, you will see that then there is no evidence. An allegation has been made and no attaching evidence has been adduced. So that was the evidence which was submitted before the county assembly and a decision made on them. So in accordance with your rules, and we strongly object to this, the county assembly cannot introduce new evidence, even if it was mentioned in the pleadings before the county assembly. It cannot introduce that new evidence before this House at this stage for only one reason. It's extremely prejudicial to the governor. And secondly, this meant from the governor. And therefore, the right to fair hearing will be severely breached if this evidence, which the county assembly is now doing a patchwork, is introduced at this stage. And lastly, it will contravene your express, clear, and unequivocal rules that no new evidence shall be introduced on the Senate if they are not part of the evidence submitted against the governor in the county assembly. Thank you.
Mr. Speaker, may I have a brief right of reply?
Council, let me just make a ruling on this matter. We make progress.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
We've had your position. We've had the governor's position. Now, if I had counsel for the county assembly correctly, is that the evidence related to those documents is already in our bundles, the original bundles. These documents were omitted by mistake during the compiling of those bundles. They do not introduce any new evidence as is being submitted by the counsel for the governor. And therefore, pursuant to Rule 30 of the Rules of Procedure, I will allow those documents to be admitted. Counsel for the governor, you may take to the stand and make your opening statements.
Mr. Speaker, sir, we had indicated that we are raising a preliminary objection. Although, allow me to make the observation, Mr. Speaker, sir, that much as you have made your ruling based on the premises that they were excluded, though they were part of the evidence, they were not part of the evidence, Mr. Speaker, sir. These are new documents that have never been part of this case. The nearest you could say is that they were referred to or they were alluded to in the charges, but they have never been part of the evidence. Mr. Speaker, sir, we filed a notice of intention to raise a preliminary objection, and the same was part of the filings we did within the timeline you gave us. The nature of our preliminary objection, Mr. Speaker, sir, is to contend that there was no voting that took place, and therefore it implicates the requirement, number one, that voting must have been done at the assembly, and number two, that a two-thirds threshold should have been achieved. It is our contention that the approach adopted by the Speaker in the County Assembly the documents filed, including the audit of the logs of the process, will show that indeed there was no voting system. Mr. Speaker, sir, I pray that you allow us to raise that preliminary objection to the effect that indeed no voting took place and that 2/3 was not achieved, and therefore your jurisdiction has not been triggered as a Senate.
So, Counsel for Governor, you have 15 minutes to raise your appeal. Counsel for the County Assembly, you'll have 15 minutes to respond, and thereafter the Senate will make a determination on the matter.
Mr. Speaker, sir, the issues we raise in our preliminary objection are that we will start, first of all, Mr. Speaker, sir, we will invite your attention to the contents of an Annex 4A from the Assembly, which provides an audit of the login processes and details of how the voting went on. And Mr. Speaker, sir, that is contained in the affidavit by the IT expert at page 79 to 85, and also in the affidavit sworn by the clerk, page 95 to 93. And Mr. Speaker, sir, the IT expert says particularly at paragraph it is volume 2. Volume 2.
What is your issue, Senator for Nairobi?
Volume 2 of the County
Counsel for
Assembly.
Governor, just hold on.
Volumes here. We can be able to go together. Other than that, you're just speaking to yourself. With respect, Counsel.
Counsel for Governor, kindly be guided accordingly.
My apologies, honorable senators. I'm referring to volume 2 of the County Assembly bundle, and I will be juxtaposing that with bundle Annex 4F, also from the County Assembly bundle. Mr. Speaker, sir, our preliminary objection, the first point I wish to address is what has been referred to by the IT expert, and that testimony, his affidavit is at page 79 to page 89. And at page, particularly page 81, paragraph 10, 11, and 12, he indicates that they have been using certain software for purposes of payments, budgeting, meetings, and so on and so forth. Then he says in October 2024, an enactment was made of Standing Order number 77, and attendant to the enactment of that section, they then developed a system for voting by upgrading what they already had for purposes of implementation of that standing order. Then he proceeds at paragraph 23, 30, and 31 to say that system is accurate, verifiable, secure, user-specific, and friendly. And Mr. Speaker, sir, that's where our preliminary objection lies. We would like to say, first of all, if it were a specific, if it was tailored to meet the intention of that standing order number 70, the standing order number 70, Standing Order number 77A requires that in the event an MCA chooses not to vote, then it must be deemed to have abstained. Mr. Speaker, sir, when we look at volume 1 of the Governor's bundle, at page 98 to 101, if we could look at that. MCA who has not voted should be reflected as having abstained. You will notice at page 98 that of the volume 2 of the Assembly's bundle, you will find an affidavit by the clerk of the county assembly at page 90 to 93, and particularly at page 90, at paragraph paragraph 17 at page 93, the clerk is very specific that there were 47 MCAs in the assembly on that date. Now, our case is that the 18 MCAs did not vote at all, and we have produced those affidavits. And those affidavits of the 18 MCAs I will provide in a minute. But let me just make this first point I was making, being that if the system that they say was tailored to meet the intention of Standing Order number 77, then 77.8 requiring that it should reflect abstention, then should have reflected 18 MCAs abstained, or in the alternative, if it were to be the case which we contest, if it were to be the case that 33 voted, then it should have reflected that 14 of them abstained. And so that's our first attack on that pretense that there was any voting that happened. It is our contention that just a piece of paper was prepared. The second argument we make is that 18 MCAs did not vote, and the maximum number of votes that that system should have reflected should have been 29 votes. And the affidavits that we have produced for purposes of supporting that proposition, Mr. Speaker, sir, are at page 117 to 120 of the governor's bundle. That is an MCA called Kiptagan. Then there is an MCA called Kibet Bozuben at page 121 to 122. Then there is Amos at page 125 to 127. Then there is Edna and Martin at page 128 to 131. Then there is an MCA whose nickname is Broker at page 132 to 134. Then there is an MCA called Gabriela at page 135 to 1. I was just struggling with the 15 minutes I was given, Honorable Senators. Then there is an affidavit sworn by one Gabriela, Honorable Gabriela at page 135 to 137, and an affidavit sworn by all the 18 jointly at page 113 to 116. In the same set of the documents, we have shown how they have already reported to the DCI for purposes of investigation of the impersonation of their votes. Mr. Speaker, sir, may I indicate that all the 18 MCAs are our witnesses, and we intend to call all of them, probably 17 or the 18. And Mr. Speaker, sir, and Honorable Senators, it is our contention that indeed, to the extent did not vote, the representation that 33 MCAs voted is inaccurate. It should have been only 29 MCAs. Now, Mr. Speaker, sir, we have identified particularly 4 MCAs whose signatures, whose votes were fraudulently captured as having voted in favor of the impeachment. They have said they did not vote, and to the extent to which the report on the voting at page 98 to 106 in bundle 1 of the governor's report purports that the 4 of them voted is a forgery, Mr. Speaker, sir. The other issue which I want my learned friend to highlight is that it will be noted that there are individuals, based on the login audit that the County Assembly has produced, that there were 3 MCAs who voted twice. That is Honorable Rogon Kiprotich, who is the mover of the motion. He voted twice. Not only is it reflected in the audit report, he also is on audio as telling one of the people he voted for that, please, let me give you some money in exchange to you for indicating my having voted for you. The other one is Honorable Moses Rotich, who voted twice, and Honorable Beatrice Chepkoech. The other issue we wish to advance, Mr. Speaker, sir, and Honorable Senators, is the standing order enacted by the County Assembly itself, standing order number 77-4, which requires that when you implement the use of electronic voting, then the MCAs will be allowed, and I want to put emphasis on these two. One is to press, not only to press, but to press a button. And Mr. Speaker, so it should be a common ground between ourselves and my learned colleagues for the County Assembly that indeed there was no gadget which could be pressed and there was no button to be pressed. What they did is to send a link to the mobile phones and ask them to enter the link and do the voting. And we are saying, Mr. Speaker, sir, to the extent to which the standing order requires that you press a button, there was no device which could satisfy the requirement for electronic voting at that point in time, Mr. Speaker, sir. 4 minutes. Okay. Mr. Speaker, sir, we would also like to point out that the entry credentials, the affidavit sworn by the IT expert multiple times at page 79 to 83, to 85, is that there was a unique criteria to enter the portal. However, it will be noted, Mr. Speaker, sir, as my learned friend will demonstrate, that the identifiers were merely the payroll number and the ID number. And so anybody who knows the payroll number and the ID number could enter and vote. And indeed, as far as we are concerned, that's what happened. And that's why we are saying that this voting system is not accurate, verifiable, nor auditable. Mr. Speaker, sir, lastly, as I hand over to my learned friend, Mr. Wanyama, is to point out, Mr. Speaker, sir, that immediately after the voting, the site was pulled down. We are meant to understand that in response to our having filed our objection, an attempt was made to set up the same link yesterday. But between the time of voting on 15th of August and yesterday and Monday, the site had been down. Mr. Speaker, sir, and honorable members, we contend that indeed this voting system does not satisfy the requirement that indeed a voting should have happened and that voting should have achieved 2/3 of the MCAs to warrant you having to entertain and determine this preliminary objection. We pray that you decline to accept this motion into your House. Mr. Speaker, sir, I request for 5 minutes from my colleague, Mr. Wanyama.
Yeah, Mr. Speaker, sir, honorable senators, there is a thorny issue which is creeping from our motion. The KERICHO County Assembly has 47 MCAs. The documents submitted by the County Assembly show 33 voted in favor of the motion. There are 18 MCAs before this House who say that they never voted for the motion. So outside the legalities, the Senate can determine that question factually by asking all these 18 MCAs whether they voted for the motion or not. Because Section 33, Paragraph 2 of the County Government Act, it's what gives this House the powers, the jurisdiction. So we submit that there is no proper motion before the House. Because of that question, it was not supported by the requisite 2/3 majority as required by the law. And why? Mr. Speaker and honorable senators, allow me to invite you to look at Volume A, Volume 4A of the County Assembly documents, because this is where the explanation comes in. Volume 4A of the County Assembly documents. Now, the County Assembly said that they used a system. They used a system which they were deploying for the first time in this voting, a system. How would an MCA access this system? You will need your IPPD number, your payroll number, and your ID number to access the system to vote. I myself, yesterday, I attempted to access this system, and I was able to access the system which they had put after pulling it down, and I was able to vote using the IPPD number and the ID number of MCS. The IPPD number is available in Volume 4A of the document. Volume 4A of the document, and allow me to just show you the yes, the same document is at at volume, the governor's bundle at page 259. The governor's bundle at page 259. And then from the county assembly documents, that is page 1 of volume 4A, you will see the ID numbers of the MCS. These ID numbers were the passwords to access the system. The ID numbers were the passwords to access the system. So the ID numbers are here. They are there. Then the username is contained at page 4 of the county assembly document. Page 4 of the county assembly document, you will see the IPPD system. The unique payroll number of each MCA. So that is a system which was deployed. Now, this system fortunately leaves an audit trail. It leaves an audit trail. Eh? It's a system which, when you extract, it leaves an audit trail for you. So at page 13 of the county assembly document, their own documents which they've submitted in the House, page 13, you will see the audit trail. You will see the audit trail, whatever happened to that system, which you could access using your ID number and the IPPD number as an MCA, and anyone could access. And before I go to this audit trail, the persons who could access the system is the clerk, the MCS, and the IT personnel. So the system will tell you the whole story. So from this page 13 and from page 13 to page 14, page 13, 14, 15, you will see the audit trails. And allow me to show you this. This is very significant.
Counsel for Governor, 2 minutes.
Yes, yes. This audit trail will show that there are 3 MCAs who voted twice. And remember, this is from the County Assembly's own document. 3 MCAs voted twice. Can I show you their IPPD numbers and their names? Yes. If you look at page 16 of the volume 4A, you will see that an MCA at number 12 from the bottom, you will see the credentials of an MCA, the IPPD number, the payroll number of an MCA, which is 202-002-51726. These are the credentials based on the County Assembly document, the IPPD payroll number, the credential of an MCA known as Moses Rotich. It says yes. The logs say he voted yes. Now, hold your page on that. On page 17 of the County Assembly document, look at the same IPPD number. It is the same, of the same person. Same MCA, Moses Rotich. It is said he voted again, yes. So he voted twice in this system. That is page 17, the first entry on page 17. The first entry at the top there is the same entry. The same IPPD number of the MCA who is appearing on the call logs as having voted twice. That is, it appears at page 16 and page 17. Page 17, the first entry. The second MCA who voted twice is Beatrice Chepkemoi. On the 9th line, at page 16, on the 9th line, page 16, Mr. Speaker, sir, on the 9th line at page 16, you will see an MCA voting yes. And the credentials, as you can see there, the IPPD number is 202, again 202, 96089. This MCA is based on the County Assembly document. We can identify the name is Beatrice Chepkemoi, voted yes. At page 17, on the 4th line, Mr. Speaker, sir, on the 4th line, you will see the same credentials for Beatrice Chepkemoi, again voting yes, on page 17. Then the last one, Mr. Speaker, sir, with your permission, Mr. Speaker, sir, the last one, the last MCA who voted twice is the mover of the motion. The mover of the motion.
For Governor, conclude, please.
Yes, I'm concluding, Mr. Speaker, sir. The mover of the motion, Mr. Speaker, sir. He appears on page 16 of the volume 4A at line 6. And the credentials at line 6 is 202, again 202, 96039. These are the credentials of a gentleman known as Honorable Kiprotich Rogoni, the mover of the motion. And he voted yes. Now on page 17, line 7. Line 7, the same credentials of the same mover of the motion, the MCA. You can see the number. Again, it says voting yes. So that from these login trails, we have counted 36 from these reports, which the county assembly has submitted as the evidence. There are 36 yes votes from the audit, from the login trail, 36. But as part of the demonstration of fraud, they were able to say that only 33 voted yes. But the answer is that from their own document, which they have submitted in the Senate, 36 MCAs allegedly voted for this motion. And some were voting twice. Secondly, from this system audit trail, you can see there were 47 attempts to log in at that time. The major attempt was done by a gentleman known as Peter. Of course, not myself. Peter attempted to log on this system 7 times using the ID number, using the IPPD number of the MCS. You cannot see it, Mr. Speaker.
These are the results of the vote. This is what the Speaker
you don't
declared.
see her
You
in
run from
any
page
other
21.
entry.
From
Twice.
that entry,
From the first
that
entry